Good afternoon.
Hey Jed, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Hopefully not pushing the wrong button. How's your Monday treating you?
I just sat through a hurricane this morning.
Oh
So
my.
all good.
And you're still
Yeah,
here.
and I'm
Good.
still
Well,
here. Yeah. What's up,
that is
Nick?
some resilience.
T, you're a warrior, girl.
Ah,
Where are you at, T?
I'm north of Houston, and so the hurricane wasn't like it said it was covering all of Houston, and so I moved to Hockley, which is like north of Cypress, but it came right over us. So it was, yeah, interesting morning for sure.
and still have internet and everything.
Yeah, well, the internet and the power was like on and off all morning. And then about an hour ago, it just came back online. So yeah, so glad I was able to come on here and help out Nick and Molly.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. This is great. So,
Yeah,
Jed, thanks so much for taking this time, man. This is
absolutely.
such a gift. And I had a chance to dive into your websites a bit. Sorry, my dogs, they think somebody's here at our house.
I know that game.
See, like, yeah. So anyway, we really appreciate it, and I know like our passion and desires just see the next generation have a greater impact and be able to get this kind of stuff at this age. And so we appreciate it. I could tell by all the things you have in your website and the other things I read about you, that sounds like a lot right down your track too. So we're excited.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. And again, want to make it as conversational as possible. So I know Nick and Molly, you guys talked about bringing some questions and just letting it be kind of a forum, open floor.
Yep. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Maya, you don't need to go off cam. We like when you're on webcam.
I just had to grab my watch and I was like leaning over, so I turned it off for like 1 second.
So we didn't have a full view of your armpit.
I have beautiful UT in the background, so
That's
Okay.
awesome.
yeah.
That's great.
And is it Athena?
Yes. Yep.
And
I'm
where are you
Athena.
from, sweetie?
Charleston, South Carolina. Well, I've been here for 2 years. I'm originally from St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Are you going to school there?
No, I graduated a couple years ago, but I work remotely, so just decided to move.
Landed in South Carolina. That actually has been a common trend. Is there like a community of, young entrepreneur-ish type people moving out there?
Yeah, there are a lot of younger people in their 20s and 30s that have been
Yeah.
moving out here recently.
Cool.
Where in Charleston are you?
I'm in Park Circle, if you're familiar. It's on the peninsula, but a little bit more north of downtown.
Okay.
Like
Nick
10
and I
minutes
opened the
from downtown.
Kilwins right on Market Street there
Oh,
many years
okay.
ago.
We
So,
lived right on East Bay for about a year.
yeah.
It was a fun adventure. Cool little town. So
Definitely. Yeah, I love it here.
that's great.
Hi, Lydia. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. Where are you from, sweetie?
I'm from Ohio.
Okay.
You were on the call last time, right?
I was.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Hi, Drew. Good to have you. We'd love for you to come on camera, everybody. There you go. Logan, welcome. Oh, Logan's getting his video or his audio. Drew, where are you from?
Currently in Dallas.
Are you in Dallas because you are in Texas moving away from bad weather?
No, I'm currently working down here in Dallas.
What does work look like for you?
So I'm working for a publicly traded company, Triumph Financial.
Wonderful.
It's great. We won't necessarily put everybody on the spot here, especially in a couple minutes. There'll be a ton of people on the call, but it's kind of fun for a few minutes when it's just us. in a little meeting room.
And Maya, are you from Austin or are you just in Austin because that's where you're going to school?
I work at UT Austin. My family lives in Austin.
Okay.
But I'm originally from California. So I'm a plant
Yeah.
in Texas, I guess.
Okay. Hi, Michael.
Where about?
We're in California,
Yeah.
LA area in the
All
valley.
right.
Yeah.
I'm an Orange County kid, so I'm
Okay,
also
Orange
a
County.
transplant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're just joining us, if you can go on webcam, we would love it. Perfect, Jack. I loved what we just saw, upside down and sideways. That's great. Oh, you got it.
Got it figured out.
Jack, are you related to Joe?
Yeah, I'm Joe's brother. I'm his older brother. We're
Oh,
out of town
awesome.
right now, so there's a lot going on. But yeah, I'm Joe's older brother. Is he
Well,
on here?
What was that?
Is Joe on here right now?
I haven't seen him, so you won. Good job, Jack.
Perfect. My sister's here too. I think she's gonna listen.
Oh, okay.
Rose.
Is it Rose?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi,
How are you doing?
Rose. Good.
Good. Yeah, we just toured Hillsdale. We know that your daughter goes there, so yeah, we just finished our tour. But
That's awesome.
Did you like
Yeah.
it?
yeah, I really liked it. I thought it's a good smaller school, which I'd probably be interested in, so I liked it.
Well, if you ever need a personal contact, just DM me and I'll give you her phone number.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brian Sai, good to see you. I know you just got back from Indonesia. All right, guys, if you can continue to go on webcam, we would really appreciate it. Hey, Ryan, can you tell me how to get 50 in the view as opposed to limited?
I don't think we're there yet anyway, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be up in the preferences.
Oh. What up, RC?
Hey, Jed, how's it going?
Uh,
Thanks for being on the call. Excited for
oh
everyone
man.
to hear from you.
we'll figure it out.
All right. William and Connor, could you possibly go on webcam? We'd love to see your beautiful faces. Or not, it's okay. Here we go. Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Brendan. Kaylin. Good to see you.
Yeah, we'd love to see y'all's faces if you can, but we understand certain times, we're in circumstances where that doesn't work. So, but we love that you guys are engaging and on this call and interacting with each other. And the more interaction, the more fun it can be. So anyway.
Mr. Moore, how do you say your first name?
Severe.
Severe. Okay, where are you from?
Nashville.
Okay, awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
I didn't want to butcher it. I have a daughter who has a name that's always butchered, so I can appreciate a really cool name. So
Yeah, I'm used to it. It's all right.
yeah. Wonderful. Well, we're gonna give it about 1 more minute and then we're gonna roll.
Growing up Jedediah, you get accustomed to, I always like checking on to planes because they always give it a go and very rarely nail it. But it makes you a little bit more memorable.
That's right.
I'm not gonna forget Severe. I mean, that's a cool name.
Thank you,
Very
ma'am.
cool.
Yeah.
Not that Maya's not a cool name, but
So guys, if you want to make sure that you have access to typing in your chat box right there, because we're going to have a lot of interaction today. And I would love for the first question to know who took what action step since our last call. So if you want to just start typing to everyone about some of the things that maybe the small action steps that you guys said that you were going to do, did you do it? And if you didn't, just let us know maybe what was your hang up. Go ahead, start typing.
Hey, Paul, welcome to the call, buddy. It's good to see you, man.
Pennsylvania representing here a little bit.
Good to see you guys too.
Yeah.
Okay, you started reading Justin's book, Maya. Great. Severe, halfway through. Maya, he's racing you, so you better start reading faster.
Great.
Any more actions? Okay. Athena, yes. You bought the course. Great, Michael.
Yeah, that's
Cash
awesome.
Flow Quadrant. I know Gabrielson started to read Cash Flow Quadrant. It's a great, no, I think they did Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, yeah. Yeah.
Good old Robert coming in. Awesome. If any of you who are not on webcam want to go on webcam, we would love to see your face. If not, not a problem. All right, we're going to get started just out of respecting of time. I know some people are still off on their 4th of July holidays.
Yeah.
But
Well, guys, we are really excited that you guys are here with us. It's good to see some of you guys join us again for a second time. If any of you didn't catch the first one live, obviously you've registered. You should have access to be able to watch the first one, the first recording. And guys, like, we're new at this. We're just launching this. We're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect right up front, but we're just trying to have fun. And our hearts and desires is to just be able to sow into this next generation, into you guys, and watch you guys grow. We want to help give you guys the keys that you need for a lifestyle of excellence in the future, whatever that looks like for you guys. And there's kind of 4 areas that we are going to try to hit on in this community. And that's the idea of how do you create the lifestyle that you want as far as like financially, so some financial freedom. We want to show you guys how do you create the lifestyle you want as far as your health, like optimizing your health, the idea of your relationships. We want to help you improve those and have excellent relationships in the future through the idea of emotional intelligence, understanding how to engage with the world well around you, and then finally business development. So a lot of you guys might be entrepreneurs thinking down that road, or just even in your career path, whatever that might be, however we can help you guys. That's kind of the foundation that we want to help give you guys. We're going to curate some great speakers. We had Justin Donald last couple weeks ago. I'll introduce our speaker today in just a minute, but we have Jedediah or Jed Collins here with us. He's amazing. I'll share more about him in a moment. But we're going to try to curate some great speakers to just share ideas. We want this to be interactive. We want you guys to ask great questions at the end. If you want to just throw questions in the chat while we're going, just so you don't forget them later, that's fine. Or you can write it down and then ask live as well. This is interactive, so don't feel free to get on camera, get off mute, share thoughts, share questions. But anyway, I also wanted to promote or just talk about, just so you guys know what's coming. We've got a couple more calls this summer. And then in September, we're going to be having a live, like in-person event that we're going to be doing in Austin, Texas.
we're coming to you, Maya.
Yeah, we're really excited about this time to get together as a community face to face, get to rub shoulders with each other, with other people who have made choices and obtained excellence in their life and are a little bit older. You get to meet some of them and get to meet Molly and I in person and all that. So we're excited about that. That's going to be September 12th through the 14th. It'll be a Thursday evening through a Saturday. And so we're going to be, we've got a bunch of really cool stuff waiting. Thursday night will be more of a social event, get together. Friday, we're going to be in sessions all day, having some great speakers come and share thoughts, ideas with you guys. And then Saturday, we've kind of got a surprise event that we're going to be doing with you guys. So just have that in the back of your mind, those dates. We'd love to see you guys.
Figure out who you're going to bring with you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to bring somebody with you that's excited about laying a great foundation for their future, then we'd love to see them. So yeah, anything else announcement wise?
No.
Okay. Great. So guys, today we have Jedediah Collins with us. This guy is amazing. I've just met him on a call not too long ago here, last week, I think. But reading up more about his story and seeing who he is and his passion that he has, part of the reason why I want him on this call is because if you dive into who he is, he wants to help the next generation grow as well, and just has a real passion for teaching and equipping, mainly down the avenue of financial literacy and financial development for people, and getting it into the schools, which is amazing what he's doing there, getting these ideas and these tools in the actual public and private education sector. It's amazing. But we also wanted to hear about what he has to say on the health side of things. He was an NFL football player for 7 years. He not only was an NFL football player, but while he was an NFL football player, he was sharpening his mind to become a certified financial planner. I love it when guys in that industry and realm are thinking way ahead, and this guy totally was. And he's a best-selling author. He started foundation, or yeah, he's a founder of Rookies to Veterans, which I love his motto, which is embracing failure, but embodying success, which is all about what we want to talk about here in this group. We're going to be authentic with you, share our failures, but yet share some of our successes with you as well. So yeah, he speaks all over the nation. This guy is really solid. He's also a father and a husband, father of 2 and a husband. And so we want to bring people to you guys that are the total package, that aren't just really good at finances or just really good at family or really good at their health or whatever. This guy's like the complete package. So we want to turn it over to you, Jed. I don't know, are you going to ask questions or?
Sure, I'll ask one question and we'll go from there.
Yeah, but Jed, thanks so much for being on this call and just sharing your experiences, your failures, your successes. I mean, this is great. This is exciting.
I love it. I always want to come on like 2 minutes, like 30 seconds after the intro, because it's always awkward sitting here. But thank you. First off, one of the quotes I love to live by and would challenge you, if you're going to write something down today, never delay gratitude. So Nick and Molly, appreciate the opportunity. Got to make him a call out because he is our connection. RC Ryan, appreciate you. Appreciate this opportunity. To the Lifestyle Investor team and this cohort, this community, I applaud you. I know what day it is. It's July 8th. I work with professional organizations, companies, schools, colleges. Nobody's working right now, and you all are here investing in yourselves, trying to improve and trying to see the future that you want to create. So I'm excited for it. As I asked, and you've been told, this is hopefully going to be a conversation. You know, I get put up PowerPoints and talk for as long as you will sit there, but that doesn't really kind of embody the message or the mindset that we're trying to do today. I'll introduce myself a little bit in a moment, but truly connecting those worlds, money, mindset, this is what I love. This is what I'm passionate about. So as we go, drop questions in the chat, unmute yourselves, throw something at me. Let's get rocking and rolling.
Yeah, Jed, thank you so much. Appreciate it. As I said, guys, use the chat. He's going to see that and answer as we go. But we brought you on kind of underneath the optimized health pillar, but that's so, seems like such a box to put you in because the physical health was obviously there because you played for the NFL. But I think one of the things that I would love to have you dive into to begin with is more of the mental health, because you were very open about some of your failure, but then how did you flip the script to some of your failures? And if you can, because obviously it's launched you into a whole bunch of success. So if you want to just tell your story around some of that, and we'll just go from there.
Absolutely. So typically I love to introduce myself as a great failure. And people look at maybe what I've accomplished or what I've done and start to question that. But the reality is failing is what I do best. And that is a kind of a honage, a piece of me, and something that I think we have gotten so far from what failure represents. People think failure is being defeated. Failure sometimes leads to being defeated, but if you can fail without being defeated, you're always going to find success. And so I look at my journey, my career. I would be very curious. Everybody heard, really cool, played the NFL for 7 years. If you were to take a wild guess, you can drop it into the chat at how many times I got cut in my NFL journey. I'd be wondering, and again, I deliver this to a lot of people. Very few have ever predicted or guessed how many times I got cut. So drop your question or drop your guesses in there. This mindset started for me in my backyard. My dad invented a game called King for a Day. In that, my brothers and I would play one-on-one basketball, and the winner would get to be king for a day, would get to look at the other brothers, boss them around, go take out the trash, get me my dinner, go feed the dog. And we started to look at this and started to understand, man, it's great to be king. But I was the youngest of the brothers. There was 3 of us, and both of my brothers ended up playing Division I college basketball, so they were pretty good. And I remember losing 100, 1,000 times in our backyard and not winning king for a day. I vividly remember the 2 times I did win, 2 out of 1,000. And I remember walking off, and my only thought was, if you're going to be king for a moment, make sure you're a gracious king. So I was always very nice to my brothers in those days that I did win. But as I looked at that, I started to adopt and understand my goal could not be king. My goal could not be to win this game. I was outmatched and I was going to lose. So my mindset shifted. My mindset shifted to not what the scoreboard read, but how Jed improved. Could I walk off that court each and every day knowing even if I failed, I had improved and I had gotten better? And that was a mindset that really started to stick with me. It stuck with me throughout high school, stuck with me throughout college, stuck with me throughout the NFL. And you better believe it sticks with me every day as an entrepreneur, because if you go down this path and you're crazy enough to believe you're going to be self-employed, you're going to fail every day. But the goal and the objective here is to begin to learn from those failures. I see fail, F-A-I-L, as your first attempt in learning. Failure is feedback. Feedback is knowledge, and we all know knowledge is power. So therefore, transitive property, nobody thought they were taking mathematics today. You look at failure as powerful. Failure is feedback. Feedback is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Failure then becomes powerful. I love the guesses. I'm going to go ahead and check them out. Severe went to the most extreme 18. I did not make it to 18. Drew capped off at 15. It actually ended up being a baker's dozen. So I got cut 13 times in my NFL career. Cut 13 times before I became the #1 rated fullback in the NFL, making me the best in the world. But that didn't come until after I had been cut a dozen times. That mindset shift. Failure is not defeat until you give up and quit. What my goal and my responsibility was, every time I got cut and told, Jed, here's your plane ticket home and a garbage bag to clean out your locker, my goal on that trip home would be to sit and think. There is a building full of people, a building full of players still achieving and doing what I wanted. What was the difference between them and myself? What were they doing that I wasn't currently doing? And I will say this, and some people shun it because I say the word steal, but my goal in those messages to myself was, how do I steal greatness? They were the best in the world. They were still in the building. I was now on a plane ride home. Who could I learn from? Was it an 8-year linebacker, a 14-year safety, a 20-year long snapper? It didn't matter if you played my position or if you were in the front office. If I saw something of yours that I was inspired by or I wanted to imitate, I started capturing and writing those messages down. To the point today, as you heard, I founded a company called Rookie to Veteran, which is the mindset from going to that rookie to becoming that veteran success. I will also share with you, I founded Rookie to Veteran about 3 months before COVID hit. I, as a public speaker, built a company around speaking in human form public settings. And 3 months into that journey was told, there is no more public, go home. I failed immediately in my first company, in my first business. Has it revived? Has it resolved? Absolutely, because I wasn't defeated, because I continued on. How can I adopt my message? How can I change my platform? Can I stare into a little white dot and have the same energy and have the same impact? I would argue it's never the same, but if you walk out of here with one thing, It was worth my time, and it was definitely worth yours. So as I introduce myself as a great failure, I want you to see as an entrepreneur, I founded 2 companies. Both are now achieving some success, but that is after 5 years of darkness and failing. I failed when I went into wealth management. Not only did I get fired by my first client that I was working on, but as I looked at progressing in that career, I started to not see the world I wanted for myself. I failed as I was studying for the certification of financial planning. Several of those exams overwhelmed me. Now, I was studying for them in the off seasons during the NFL, but I still was failing the test. I've just shared with you how I failed growing up, and the one I will not ever live down is in my high school football career. I won 41 games in a row, and I ended on my single and only loss, going 41-1. I ended as a failure after being identified and defined as a winner. This mindset of failure is power, your first attempt in learning. It doesn't matter what avenue you go down, could be real estate, could be some other investment, could be a completely new atmosphere in a new world that is changing on a daily basis. Our hope and our goal is, again, you embrace this idea of failure. Gary Vee says it all the time. You get so much more knowledge out of a loss than out of a win. So as we look at today, I want to have an open forum, an open discussion through the chat, through you unmuting. How can I help you adopt this mindset, give you some tips and guidance, whether it's in the financial lane, whether it's in the entrepreneurial lane, if it's in the fitness or the mental health lane? These are atmospheres that I practice and preach on a daily basis. So again, excited you all are here, and I got stories, so you let me know what road we want to go down.
So one of the first things I have after hearing all of that is, are there practical things you did to keep from going into depression, or and what did your community look like around you? Guys, I'm going to start with these questions, but after this, I really want to hear what your questions are. So Jed, what are some practical things you did mentally, and then what part did your community play in that?
So I remember one of my first days in Philadelphia playing with the Eagles. I got to rep in training camp and go against the first team. And against them at that time, there was a guy named Brian Dawkins. Doesn't matter if you know who he is. I see Saphir's shaking his head. Brian Dawkins was a dude. He was a bad mamba jamba. He played there for 15 years. This guy was so good. He didn't just have one locker. B-Doc had 2 lockers. He had one for Brian Dawkins, the man, and the locker next to him was for Weapon X, the mythical creature and being that Brian Dawkins became out on the field. And I remember I had one of the little roll in, roll out lockers during training camp because I was still hoping and begging for a place on the team, and looking at this guy's 2 lockers and wondering how good you must feel to have both, not only one for you, but one for your persona and your alter ego, filled with capes and X-Men figurines and blades and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so my first day of padded practice, I got to go and rep against that first team defense. And I remember vividly seeing Brian Dawkins come through the hole, and my job as the fullback was to go block the strong safety. The problem was I didn't see the Brian Dawkins, the man locker. I started to see the Weapon X locker. I started to see some creature descend from the clouds with the cape on and the blades coming out of his hand, and he knocked me into next Tuesday. As I got up off the turf, I remember thinking to myself, A, how awesome was that? Brian Dawkins is a guy I grew up watching play on TV. But B, I lost that rep before it even began. Seeing a mythical beast was never going to be something that I could overcome. I remember sitting in my dorm room that night, watching the mirror and just staring at myself and questioning, could I do this? I failed again. First play, first opportunity, mark it off. No. How was I going to respond? How was I going to bounce back? And this was truly when the idea of a mantra became something I started to use on a daily basis. I started to look in the mirror, and that voice in my head said, Jed, can you do this? These guys, this is the NFL. These are professionals out here. That man you just hit, that's a 30-year-old grown man. He's got kids and he's got a lot of mouths to feed. Can you do this? And it was in that moment, it was on that evening that I started to stare at myself and say, I can do this. I can play in the NFL. I can be the fullback for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I started to repeat that. The next morning when I woke up, those were the words that were ringing my ear. I am the fullback for the Philadelphia Eagles. I am a NFL player. I am able to do this. It was every day, every morning, even when the stars were not shining in my favor, when other people were getting reps, standing on the sidelines, the only words I would allow myself to repeat is, I am the Philadelphia Eagles fullback. I am the Philadelphia Eagles fullback. I started to just meditate on those thoughts. Did it come to fruition? No, the Eagles cut me. I moved on. But it was the idea of the mantra. It was the idea of having a phrase that I could go to even in the darkness, even in the depths. Who was my team? In the NFL, you have no team. You are an island. You are here earning one of those 53 spots. Nobody in that room cares about you until you're a part of the squad. And so as I looked in that mirror, that was my team. Did I have supporters at home? Sure. Did I have a fiance who was going to become my wife? Absolutely. But in that building, in that moment, that mantra was the only thing that would allow me to have the energy and the focus to go out and do my job on a consistent basis. Because even in this virtual setting, if you don't feel like your attitude and your energy comes through, you really don't understand the EQ, emotional intelligence yet. I started to understand if Jed came in with the pity party, people see that. If I came in, I am the Philadelphia Eagles fullback, people will feel that as well. So if I can challenge you to start any practice, it could be a quote, it could be a saying, could be a Bible verse, could be something from a book. I have an endless list always with me of places and journals that I've written down at the beginning, and I always start with quotes that I have learned throughout my journey. One of those, never delay gratitude. Another one of those is just practicing this mantra idea. Today, my mantra, being an entrepreneur, I'm a tough guy to kill. Cruel, gruesome, sure. But that's what I have to tell myself, because I look around this room and I have employees and I have a team and it's growing. That doesn't matter. They come after me. They come for the king. Right now, I have to be as hard to kill as possible. Fail every day, but never get defeated.
Man, I'm ready to go do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Go.
Good work,
Exactly.
Jed.
That's awesome.
How did you apply your competitive mindset of sports to the business world? Lydia, love that question. How do you translate? So how do you translate this idea of, okay, the guy played football. Don't even use football. Yeah, sports. It's not even about football or sports. It's about the principles that I walked away with. One of those concepts, one of those principles was up on every NFL building I walked into. 3 magical words: be a pro. Be a pro breaks down into a principle I have taken away from football, incorporated into my business, my personal life, my financial life. The be a pro mindset breaks down to confidence. We just talked about mantras. Trust. Who on your team do you trust and who do you struggle to trust? And then value. As a pro, you got to come in and add value each and every day. But I will share another story, because that's what we're here to do, of how I translated that competitive mindsets from sport to the business world. And this is one I hope you are able to see the transition of. So my second year, I was with the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, doesn't matter about the football. Hear the concept and hear the transition. I got to practice with this group. We were called the Big Skills. So the big guys are the big giant dudes. If they walked in, everybody knows who they are. The skilled guys are the famous ones. Everybody knows their name. And then the middle group is called the Big Skill. We kind of do a little bit of everything. And this put me as an offensive fullback next to the linebackers. Offense, defense, working out, training side by side. And I remember training with this 15-year linebacker. Guy was kind of amazing. I mean, to play that game at that level for 15 years, incredible. But what I noticed about him is we'd go out, we'd run 40-yard sprints. He'd run 45. We'd run 50 yards. He'd run 55. We'd go into the weight room. We'd get a set of 225. He'd slide on 2.5 pounds and then do an extra set, always doing an extra rep. We'd go get 2 game tapes. Our requirement was go get 2. He'd always get a 3rd. I remember walking up to him and saying, Zach, well, I don't understand. I mean, you're getting older. Is it hard to slow down out on the field? 5 pounds on a bench press. That's never going to make a difference. Why do you put 5 extra pounds on a bench press when you're already throwing up 250 pounds? It doesn't make a difference. And he said, Jed, look around. Look around this room right now. Look at the people in here. Everybody in here is younger than me, cheaper than me, healthier than me. By now, they're probably faster than me. The only reason I can come in here and still compete at this level is because every day I come in and I steal this. And that mindset shift stayed with me from this day forward. He said an inch. An inch leads to a yard to a first down to a touchdown to a win, and wins get us to the Super Bowl. And the only reason anybody's in this building is to go to the Super Bowl. But it starts with this. I mentioned earlier my success as a fullback. It was in that moment that I realized what my path to success was going to be. As a fullback, I had 6 days of the week, Monday through Saturday, to improve. Well, turns out my collisions, my responsibility, were measured in 6-inch battles. If I can move my opponent back 6 inches, that was a plus for Jed, the fullback, on that play. I started to go in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through Saturday and steal 1 inch. So on Sundays, when I went into those contests, I'd already stolen my 6-inch battle, and I had already won before I stepped on that field. That inch mindset translates to absolutely anything you want to do. You're in sales. What is an inch? Calling somebody out by name. Your name is the most beautiful words you have ever heard in your spoken tongue. Doesn't matter what language you speak. If I say, Brendan, Paul, everything perks up. Everything is interested. Now I'm engaged. You want to have a subtle inch? Call somebody by name. You want to have an inch in finances? We all have heard and talked, and we want to go down the compound interest, time value, money route. That is the game of inches in the financial lane. You want to have a subtle inch each and every day you start a meeting? Here is the greatest and most magical inch alive. A simple, silly smile. Why? Because 1 smile just turned into 3. That is the power of a subtle difference and a subtle change. Any of you look at the Tour de France, which is going on right now, the most massive impact is done by the most subtle adjustments that these men make over the marathons that they sprint every day. As you look at how do you translate that competitive mindset, never look at a story. Always look at the principle you can take away from it. The Wizard of Oz. It's a kooky, crazy kind of play. The Wizard of Oz is about realizing everything you need is inside of you. There's no place like home. I am already in the most powerful place. The Cowardly Lion, the one that doesn't have any confidence, he is the one out is defending them. The Scarecrow, who doesn't have a brain, is always the one coming up with the ideas. The messaging doesn't matter that it's some silly play. It's this idea that you have everything you want it to be. So as you see competitive, as you see sports, whatever your background is, start to look at those key principles that you can say, I can do this one thing in all of these fields. And that is going to be how you start to translate your success, both in marriage, Nick and Molly, both in financial, both in professional, as well as your personal friendships. A subtle inch I have now that I've been a few years out of college and a few years away from friends, I have an inch where I have 5 friends I have to reach out to every month. Those are my inches. Those are how I maintain those relationships. So love that question. Obviously, I went off on a tangent there, but
I love
Lydia,
that. And I'm going to take a quick pause, Jed, because we're going to
Go
take
ahead.
an action break here because
Awesome.
one of the things that I'd love to see in the chat, guys, is what is your 1 inch action or even just the extra rep that you could do from what he just said. So I want us to process that and then I want to see what you guys have to say, that where you see you could do an extra inch or an extra rep.
I will also throw in your mantra. Maybe your inch is,
Mhm.
I have to identify my mantra. What is that saying? What is that phrase that you'll repeat to yourself in the morning? And if you've ever heard of the book Think and Grow Rich, I just summed it up in 60 seconds. It is a mantra. That is all it is.
There's another action step: read, think, and go rich.
Oh, yeah.
So
there
guys,
you go.
get going in the chat. We
Thank
would
you.
love to hear what you could see, what inch can you add to your life right now? We'll wait. Who's going to be the brave one and go first? There you go, Michael. Appreciate ya.
Enjoy the process, not the result. Love that. Make one more.
Yes.
Make one more. Never ending.
Yep. Yes, reading a day. It's a
Very
great
good.
one.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, guys, continue to think through those as
Can I jump on one of these?
yes, please.
So, Michael said, how do you change your identity after your NFL career? And I think this is a huge one because I work a lot with professional athletes. In the last 2 months, I've got to teach and empower about 400 NFL players. Super cool, full circle kind of coming back. But something that I have always consistently said, your identity, this is not, and so there's a big difference maybe in a corporate environment, you can kind of see the difference. When you say a company's culture, that's how the people within the company see what's happening. When you say a company's brand, that's how people outside the company start to look at what's happening. When I look at identifying myself, my philosophy of who Jedediah is has never changed. Fullback, failure, blah, blah, blah. What I see as who I am continues. So how did I change my identity? My identity didn't change. What people have seen in the sides of me that they choose to focus on, that is up to them. So maybe that's my reputation, but my identity is consistently an internal measurement. I don't count on you to tell me who and what I am. I look at, schools used to tell me, Jed, we have girls in this high school. Maybe not everybody's a football fan. I'm a certified financial planner. I wrote a book. You going to identify me as those things as well? You can choose how people, you cannot control how people see you. Your reputation is what you put out, and what you hope is the reality. The truth is, my identity never changed. My mindset, my be a pro, who I am in 3 words. I'm a hard worker, I'm authentic, and I'm creative. Hard worker, I'm in the 5 a.m. club, doesn't matter where I am in the world. I get up and I go get to work. Why? I like to wake the weights up, or I like to get in the building before other people. I got to work with a guy named Drew Brees. Said if I get up before the sun gets up, always makes me feel productive. He was the first guy in the building every day. The mega millionaire superstar beat everybody in the building. I am authentic. For better or worse, you're going to meet me. And believe me, that's a blessing and a curse. And then I am creative. Something I hid for years is that I love journaling. I love writing. I have this voice, this kind of creative nature to me. But that is how I always saw myself. Football players have never come up to me and been like, Jed's super creative, because that's not how they saw me. How I saw myself is what's more important. So my identity never shifted, never changed. My reputation continues to change. Now, a lot of people, students, about 30,000 students in the fall, are never even going to know Jed the football player. They're going to know Jed the financial educator. Awesome. I'm cool with that. I love that. I am still hardworking, authentic, and creative. So identities are very interesting, and a lot more people need to focus on that mental health side of, I know what people are saying. I know what people believe. I don't care what people even see. It's what I think that matters. That's who's in the mirror. So I just wanted to call that one out because that pivots into that mental health focus.
Jed, that was really good. Guys, that last little bit is such an amazing nugget. If you want to know how to walk into a room whatever it is, either a business deal, anything, and walk in with confidence in who you are, and know that even if somebody comes and spews on you what they think and they are mean to you, they had a bad day, whatever, and it doesn't touch you on the inside because you know your identity. I'm sure all of us have had people say bad things about us, whatever, they might have had a bad day or had somebody else throw up on them emotionally or whatever. But if you know how to hold solid to who you are and your identity, we call that being a powerful person. That will put you in much bigger circles, and people like to hang out with powerful people that know who they are. So thank you, Jed. That's awesome.
To answer Athena's question, do you have that kind of mindset in each area of your life? I try to. There's a reason we call it practice. You can't check every box every day, but absolutely. I look at my physical fitness. I've had repeatedly friends come and say, Jed, I want to work out with you. Why? Because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be 5:30. Where am I? You know where I'm going to be. Their problem is they try to go 100 miles in a day. That's not the goal here. We are all running marathons. It is not a sprint. Don't come and work out with me and say, let's work out for 3 hours in one day. I'm in and out in 45, 50 minutes. I'm going to work hard while I'm there, but I'll be back tomorrow. So how do you take that same mindset? I love that you ask if they become routines. Yes, habits, the power of habit. There's a book called The Power of Habit, another great book to read. But as you look at this, cue, habit, routine, cue, habit, reward. Everybody kind of focuses on, well, cue is what launches my habit. The habit is what I'm going to go do. The reality is we need to look more towards the reward. The toothpaste industry doesn't put a tingling feeling in your toothpaste because it helps you. They do it because walking out of the bathroom having a tingling sensation gives you a reward and will, in essence, make you go brush your teeth more and then sell more toothpaste for them. If you want to create a habit, focus on your rewards. Focus on that why. Another great book, and man, I'm just listening them off. Simon Sinek, Start with the Why. I don't give a damn what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, until you tell me why you're going to go do it. So if you can build your habits around your why, I promise you, you will start to see more consistency in your days. And that Brennan said, as an entrepreneur, what steps do you take to get a business idea out of the idea phase and into reality? And here is my greatest kind of thought and mindset behind becoming an entrepreneur. We just talked, Nick was mentioning, people are going to tell you, they're going to tell you what they see. You're going to hear the word can't. I got 2 girls, they're 10 and 8 years old. The only word I do not allow them to say is can't. I even allow them to say shit sometimes. Don't tell them that. But can't is not something I want to hear. People have told me for a decade, Jed, you can't build a financial literacy program that's going to go across the country. In the last 10 years, every state in America is starting to say we need a financial literacy curriculum that goes across the country. Jed, you can't write a book. You're a football player. Jed, you can't make it in the NFL. Jed, CFP, that's really hard. I don't think you can do that. You got to stop looking at what the idea is and start to look at those practical applications. My sticky note above my computer right now, get 100 no's. N-O, no. You want to go figure out how to go from an idea phase into the practical reality? You show me your list of 100 no's, and I guarantee you I'll be able to tell you how to go to that next step. None of it is possible until you go get people to tell you why you can't do it, what's wrong with your thing, how your thing needs to be improved. If you can get 100 people to tell you no and why, that's how you go from idea to practical. I love that. I love talking to this entrepreneurial mindset because ideas are awesome. I love ideas. Ideas are worthless. Ideas are awesome. Ideas are worthless. How do you get into that reality phase? You have to go fail. You have to go where nobody's been before. If somebody had been there, they're already doing it. Their business is already operating. They're already making the money. You have to figure out where someone else hasn't gone. And because they've never seen it, they're going to tell you you can't do it. It's impossible. I've never seen it done. You can't do it. How do I get into reality? Awesome. Why do you think I can't do it? A, B, and C. Great. I'll talk to you in 3 months. Get 100 no's. That's how an entrepreneur goes from idea to reality. I love it. I can keep rolling it. I mean, Brian put in there what it comes to our business relationships. How do you walk away from a bad deal? You have to have criteria. Let's take real estate investing for a moment. If I look at deal flow, I have to be able to measure, sure, what are the calculations? Anybody can do the calculations. The numbers don't lie. Let's see what the numbers are. Then we have to go through something that's a little less measurable, like location. Well, I have a gut feeling about this location, but I don't really know for sure. Then I have to go through the team. Well, who am I going to need to actually have this deal come to fruition? How am I going to go through X, Y, and Z person to make sure it goes to where I want it to go? And then last but not least, how does this fit in with everything else that I'm doing? So as you start to look at deals, have that structured sequence and system for yourself. How do I measure? Sure, what is the return? Everybody wants to know what the return is at the beginning. But then you look at that quick measurement that connects to return, which is risk. This is a big question I deal with a lot of professional athletes who think debt is always bad. There is no bad debt. There is no good debt. There is debt. Debt is a tool. You can use it poorly or you can use it wisely, but the debt itself is not inherently negative. So as we look at this, how do I look at a deal? A deal for you might be a bad deal that is a good deal for me. Why? It meets my criteria. And the hardest part about business, especially being an entrepreneur, is there's always going to be a new shiny object. There's going to be something that takes us off our path and brings us over here to allow us to go run and kind of redirect. So how do you identify a bad deal? Anything that doesn't meet your criteria and anything that doesn't keep you on the path that you were on. There's a reason we set goals. There's a reason you have a mission statement. Don't get lost in business plans and mission statements and all this other noise. Just figure out the path you want to go down. If it takes you off that path, it's not your deal. Not a bad deal. It's just not your deal. So I would recommend starting what are the deal breakers. And as I look at more and more deal flows, I find it, I wanted that number to be 9. It's 7. That's a deal breaker. This person who's on their team, I didn't trust, I didn't like, I didn't appreciate their attitude. That's a deal breaker. I don't want to work with them. Maybe this one over here, well, I got a little bit better opportunity going on this side. I don't think I can take this one on. Wasn't a bad deal, just wasn't as good as this other thing over here. Deal breaker. So as you start to look through your deals, have your internal 3 or 4 measurement criteria that you can say, not good, not bad, just not right now.
When you were in your 20s, how did you make that list, Jed?
Reading. Reading, and I would say networking. So a lot of people would disagree. You know, I'm a public speaker. Like I said, I haven't even used a PDF. I could throw up PowerPoints and stuff and talk for as long as you'll let me. The greatest way to learn, be a lifelong learner, is a very simple TED or Ting. And I don't know if you've heard that before, but if you have, I hope you hear it this time. It is much more beneficial for you to be interested than interesting. Be TED, don't be Ting. If I, right now we're talking all about me, so I'm trying to be interesting. If I got to meet you all and we were sitting around having a coffee or a beer or whatever, my goal would be to talk 30% of the conversation. And if you are truly a seasoned veteran, somebody I want to see as possibly a mentor, that drops down to 90-10 or 80-20. For all of you who are going to have spouses and get married, use this philosophy with your in-laws. My father-in-law talks 90% of the time at me, and I just sit and smile. Guy's brilliant. He's an attorney. He's got a lot of wisdom. 90% worth, probably not, but I am interested in what he is saying. So as I looked at how do I start to build my criteria, I would just ask questions. That 15-year linebacker, why did he tell me his philosophy and not the other guys? I asked. the entire lineup of my rookie to veteran principles and stories. I went and asked Darren Sproles, my teammate, you just broke an NFL record last year. You are by far the best player to ever do this. Who are you competing with now that you hold the NFL record? And I remember his comment, Jed, I'm competing with the same guy I always do, myself. You have to go ask people what they're thinking, how they saw that, what was the problem. And I would ask you, I would challenge you, write in the chat what your greatest failure to date is. I know you're embarrassed to write that. Maybe you don't need to write it. But if you can look at that, own it, and go, ha ha ha, but look at what it taught me, now I can move on. So now I can go to somebody and say, hey, I'm open, I'm vulnerable, I have failed. Let me learn from you. Let me be interested in you. So if you walk away and look at mentoring, networking, come with a list of questions. I see Nick and Molly, they had a whole series of questions. I don't know how many of them we've actually got to yet, but come with questions. And if you don't have any, go with the why, how, what model. Why do you do what you do? How did you get to be so good at what you do? Very different. What can I do to imitate your success? You can ask any person in the world that. And remember, just like their name, I called you Maya. If you get them to start talking about themselves, that is the easiest subject for them to run on. Learn from others' experience. And if you want to learn from the minds of the world, that's why everybody reads books and why people see that as the secret of success. Mark Twain once said, it is no more powerful to the man who cannot read, to the man who does not choose to read. I know we all need to update our quotes, man, woman, people, but if you choose not to read, you are just as powerless as the person who cannot read. That was it.
Michael, thank you for being vulnerable there. Good
Yeah.
job.
Start with the
Jed,
why.
could you tap into Maya's question up there?
Trying to fix everything, adjust every aspect of your life all at once. What drives? What do you choose to focus on at one moment? This is my rookie to veteran model. Let me see if I can get it. How do you prioritize? How do you look at this? So, short story, because I know I'm sharing a lot of football ones. I was a linebacker in high school. I became a tight end in college. And then in the NFL, I was short and slow. So they threw me at fullback. What I had to do with each of those transitions was realize, what does the team need most? My coach in Cleveland told me a great example of all the things, and he actually flattered me. He was like, Jed, you can do this, you can do that, you're good at this, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to see the field if you're not the number one blocking fullback on this team. I don't care what else you can do. If you don't go take that number one job, you're never even going to see the field. So how do I prioritize my day? I look at my day in two different formats. I have glass balls and I have rubber balls. Glass balls, if I drop them, they shatter and they never come back. Rubber balls, if I drop them, bounce back and I can have another chance at them. As you start to prioritize, there is a great kind of quadrant by Dwight D. Eisenhower that is do, delegate, defer, or discuss. If it is high priority and high in timing, you have to go do it. If I don't need it to be done right now, but I need to do it, well, then I have to delay. If I can have something that's a low priority, but it needs to be done now, I can delegate. And if it's low priority and doesn't need to be right now, I can discuss it. So how do I start to prioritize my day? What is due today and what is most important? Who are those glass balls and how do I see when their due date is? That is an easy quadrant. Jed has to go do these today. If I can, and this is the hardest part about being, so side note, self-employed versus entrepreneur. Self-employed means I personally go get my own income. Entrepreneur means I'm trying to build a business that removes me from it. Jed, the speaker, is self-employed. Jed, the founder of Money Vehicle, is trying to be an entrepreneur. Why? Right now, people are working on Money Vehicle. At least I hope they are. But as we look at this, I started to look at how I can control all the balls that we're juggling in the air. What is the time horizon? And what is the priority of importance? Is it a glass ball opportunity? If I drop, it shatters and goes away. That has to elevate around these rubber balls. I love students. Students reach out to me. I always respond. Might be a week, might be 2 weeks. I'll respond. But if it's between a superintendent and a student, having that priority. So ask yourself this. I have set out on a mission. I joined the Lifestyle Investor for a reason. What is that goal? What is that objective? What has to be true for me to achieve that? And if I can continue to understand what I want in the distance, I can prioritize my day to day. So as we look at it, you have to have your most. You have to set your goal, what I want most. You have to reverse engineer that. I like to call that checkers or chess. Checkers, you just move across the board and you get there. Chess, you begin to strategize 3-4 moves in advance, and you can actually look at where your pieces are now and visualize where you want them and how to get there. That's a chess strategy. So if I have a goal, I reverse engineer my chess strategy. Then I look at what is my priority today. And then we fundamentally back into what is my daily habit? What is the process and the routine that I need to go do right now? Quick trick, very simple. I always have these little flashcards or these little Post-it notes. I got several colors because I like to be focused on different types of things. But that is my Jed has to do today. These are my projects. These are my sales. I have a CRM. We use HubSpot. It's good. I'm more traditional, more old school. I like things being right where I can see them. So how do I prioritize? Sticky note. Easy. And don't do this first. You can do it first thing in the morning. You can do it throughout the day. Some people do it right before they fall asleep, so it's not in their brain rattling around. Use those kinds of concepts. Everything I need to do tomorrow is already on my sticky note. I don't got to worry about tomorrow. I get up, I go get my workout in guilt-free. But great question there.
Can I ask a quick question about the rubber versus glass balls? I love that just picture. How do you keep some of the things like your workouts, the mental health things, even though they feel like a rubber ball, because if you don't do it today, it will bounce back. It can do it the next day. You can sometimes kick some of these down the road a little bit, but in the end, it can turn into a glass ball. So how do you speak into that a little bit, if you would?
Yeah. Check-ins. In a month, did I miss 7 workouts or did I miss 1? In a month, have I talked to my wife at all? Or are we talking on a daily basis and went for a walk? In a month, you know, did I put money into an investment or am I bleeding money out? So I look at that again. Job number 1 is today. That checkers versus chess is that strategic phasing of, you know, we use a lot of roadmap analogies because the company's called Money Vehicle and it's cute and plays into the kind of shtick. But the map is this is where you are and this is where we're trying to go. The road goes like this and it has stops on it, little road stops. This stop is going to check your taxes. This stop's going to check your insurance. This stop's going to. So as you look at where I am, my habits and my process and routines today to where I'm going, what is the most that I value over anything right now? This is what I want. What is the check-in? Is the check-in in 3 months? Is the check-in in 3 weeks? Is the check-in every 3 days? You look at something like investing. People, I hate the kind of day-to-day, I won, I lost. That's not the goal. Yes, you can steal an inch today. You can lose an inch today. But your vision and your focus is always, where am I in a year? Where am I in a decade? That takes precedent and priority over anything you're deciding or choosing today. So always keeping the vision to what I want most, and then knowing when my check-in is next. Hey, for my business right now, we're in school cycles. Right now, July is teacher training. August is onboarding. I'm not going to check in on anything we're doing until October. Why? Because we're going to be nose down in the day-to-day for the next couple months. Come October, we're going to look up and go, man, Paul, what happened here? Is this system working? How would you make this process more efficient? We can't do that next month because we're doing that too much. in 3 months, we're going to be able to sit, look back, and improve. So it's those little road stop check-ins that I would really recommend. I mean, we should have in every facet of your life. But again, as you said, mental check-in is a huge one. I argue mental and spiritual are kind of two different ones. Then you go to financial, you go to professional, you go to personal. You have these avenues and these quadrants of mental and physical health. Just continue to have those check-ins for yourself.
Fantastic. Will you take a short commercial break for us and tell us, because I went to your website, obviously, and what you're doing there is phenomenal. What's there? Tell this audience what's there and
Awesome.
what's there for them.
Absolutely. So we are teaching people the language of money. Money Vehicle is all about seeing money differently. So money as a vehicle, a tool to take you somewhere. Money is not the destination. So as we look at it, people got their first paychecks, and much like me, we're very unprepared for it. Mine came in the NFL with, a couple more zeros or whatever behind it. Still came and went like every 18, 16, 26-year-old who doesn't know what to do with their first paycheck. So the goal and the mission is to take you as a student, and you're always a student because we don't sell products. I don't manage assets. We don't have any clients. Student could be 16, 26, or 46. Student, how do we get you to start seeing your money, build out a plan for your money, and then identify those inches or those little processes and systems to make your financial plan more of a reality coming into the future. So truly, we're just trying to teach the language. And I say all the time, I don't give you fish. Lifestyle Investor is trying to give you fish. This is how I teach you how to fish. I want to give you the questions to ask about things financially related. And so you can speak the language and walk into a group like this and not feel intimidated or overwhelmed, but start to understand, okay, now that I know the language, now I can go take these actions. We're trying to start that conversation. And you can get it in 1 hour increments, 1 hour courses. You can buy the book. The book was pretty good. But again, none of this is kind of, hey, I'm going to change your life in an hour, or you're going to change everything in a day. How do you control all the aspects of what you're trying to do? Piece by piece, day by day. I just, again, finished talking to 400 people in the NFL. My mission and message to them, very simply, decades, not days. Success is not a days thing. Success is a decades thing. People look at me right now. The last 4 or 5 years has been an absolute struggle. I have failed and been, beaten up and losing for the last 4 or 5 years. And yeah, in 2 years, Money Vehicle is going to be a nationwide success, and people are going to go, oh, such an easy idea, and blah, blah, financial literacy. You measure what I did today, but I've been doing it for the last decade. And that's the kind of humbling reality we need to check ourselves, is it doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come tomorrow. You want to invest in your future, you got to speak the language, then you got to go take action.
So I'm looking at some of these other questions.
Yeah, guys, Jed, that's awesome. I love what you're doing again for the youth, for the next generation, teaching financial literacy. Is there any kind of ask that you would have of anybody here, even networking, connections, anything to help spread the word about what you're doing?
Introductions. We work with colleges. We work with a couple Greek societies, fraternities, sororities that if you were a part of, this is a great way to be able to say, we're on 74 campuses. Great. It's the internet. They can all get access to it. And the goal is not, hey, we went through Money Vehicle and it's amazing. I mean, that would be nice. The goal is to look at Kaylin and go, she is at South Carolina sorority, now addressing her group of sisters around this conversation. We hope we are starting the conversation to be leaders. We have students all the time submitting videos. It's a virtual, we have a textbook, obviously, but it's a virtual course. Because how many of you are actually sitting and reading traditional books? Maybe you are, but you are in the 5% who do.
Yeah.
You're old.
Audible and things like that have changed. But how can we have them replace the message? Why I love working with high school, college students is they're looking for a way to establish a part of their identity and establish a part of their brand NIL has opened up this door tremendously. A lot of people say, I want financial literacy to be a part of who I am. Let me give you a template, a message, a topic to go and address. I'm not going to tell you how to. I'm going to tell you what the direction is, why we're doing it. You get to control the how. So we're just trying to create opportunities for people to make this subject in 10, 20 years to be one that we look back and be like, people used to smoke cigarettes. Like, that's crazy. It's unhealthy. And it's like, it's so obvious. In 20 years, I hope people go, people used to not know what they do with their paycheck. It's so obvious. That's the goal.
Yeah, that is great. So guys, as you guys can see, Jed is like, he's the real deal. Like he's crushing it in so many areas of life. And that's what we want to be able to give you guys, is the ability to not just make it financially. He's going to help a ton of people make it financially, but he's also representing like himself, his family, and just in amazing ways. This guy, he's got the priorities straight. He's got habits and things to just embody success. Like you said, he's authentic. He's good with sharing his failures.
Creative.
And he's creative. You guys, I've already written down a ton of things that you said, Jed. This has been great. And guys, part of the reason why we're doing this is so you can have access to guys like Jed here. And I love that you guys have put questions in the box here. We're going to do these calls generally about 80 minutes ish or so. But if anybody has to leave at any point, totally understandable, no problem. Again, this is a authentic, real, and informal kind of group here. But if anybody else wants to even come off of mute and just ask Jed a question or two, it doesn't have to be typed in. We might be able to get a little bit of dialogue even back and forth. But before we go, is there anything else that anybody's wanting to know? Be a little bold, come off mute, and just ask questions. Go ahead, Michael.
I honestly really wanted to hear the answer to Athena's question, which is saying, how do you feel fulfilled if you're always looking towards the next thing? So how do you balance contentment and being present while also having this drive?
Oop. Sorry, I was responding to one of the things and I mistyped. I will fix that. And so I brought this back up, and I honestly didn't plan on using this, but it's
What is
principle number
that?
10. This
Can
is
you
this is the rookie to veteran sequence. So you see, be a pro is where we start. We start with that confidence. What are your goals? What do you want most over what you want right now? That checkers to chess philosophy I was talking about. Trust your routine. This is all about building your habits. Game of inches, each and every day stealing. Find a graybeard. That's that network. Go find somebody you can learn from. A lot of people get confused. I can only find a mentor. Graybeards can be plus, minus, or equals. Some of the best mentors you can have are peer-to-peer, or these young, and you all are mostly young, there are kids much younger than you that are brilliant. Learn from them, steal from them. And I call them kids because you guys are adults now and you look down on them. The point is, kids can teach you a ton of stuff. What's your job number 1, which we talked about? Mow your grass. This is all about controlling the controllables. I like to say control your ape, your attitude, your preparation, and your effort. Things that do not take talent. Find the knot. This is about diagnosing what the problem is and not just addressing the symptoms. But this is the question that was just asked. And I'm going to zoom in on so you can see that. Enjoy the hunt. How do you find and feel success when you're always looking at what is next? The journey. And this is something, one, Miley Cyrus, like her, love her. Great song on It's the Climb. What you need to be able to do is see the work you're putting in as the victory. If it comes to fruition, if it comes to where you want it to go, all the better. But you will realize that is not going to give you the satisfaction. I've got to sit next to guys who get the $75 million contracts, lots of them. They're not happy. They're not fulfilled. Money came, but it didn't satisfy their internal struggle. Cool Runnings, great movie about a Jamaican bobsled team, John Candy, and it says, you think a gold medal is going to be something, and it's not. If you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. So how do I continually look at this and say, it's hard. I'm waking up and I'm always wanting what's next, is because when I look at my Post-its, when I look at my day, I sit and I celebrate my successes. And that success could be I sent 25 emails. That success could be we got a win, sure. But it also could be I worked on a project that nobody outside even understands is going on, but I progressed on it. I love 100-hour projects, things that I look at my curriculum and say there's 12 chapters. It's going to take me 100 hours to go do this for each chapter. I love that because I wake up and I go, I'm going to go do chapter 7 today. So how do you continue to balance? Look at what you're accomplishing. Remember why you're trying to accomplish it and celebrate the progress. That inch. If you stole an inch today, Monday, July 8th, enjoy it. Live it. That's the perfect. Tomorrow, come get your inch. Come feel satisfied, fulfilled, and understand I am already who I need to be. That is my identity. When I become uber famous and successful, when you become uber famous and successful, people are going to go, what did you change? Nothing. I just did something for 10 years you weren't willing to do.
That is so good.
I like
Learning to
Nicholas
enjoy-
like that one.
Yeah, learning to enjoy the journey. It's a really powerful one.
Enjoy the hunt. The kill won't satisfy you unless you do.
What does
So no,
rest look like for you, Jed?
Say it again.
What does rest look like for you?
Ooh, not easy. You could ask my daughters that. This thing, so this is called a Whoop. It measures your sleep and your strain, your activities and stuff. Honestly, I've been wearing it for like 2 years now. Completely changed my mindset around sleep. I used to be one of the I went to bed at midnight, still woke up at 5 and, powered through it. Totally reversing my mind around what sleep actually is. So I'm starting to prioritize, job number 1, my sleep. Right now, I'm about a 9:30 to 5 a.m. sleeper. That's what I can function off. That's what gets me, through the day. It doesn't make me want to fall asleep at 9:30. Absolutely. And are there days I break that? Of course. Nothing is set in stone. I'm not a robot. But I look at sleep as a huge advantage that I never really understood before. It's amazing the things that will impact your sleep. Late bowl of ice cream, obviously alcohol, things like that. But then I also look at things like, well, I can rest without sleeping. Meditation is an amazing one. Yoga is something that I always scoffed at. It's like, I'm going to go squat 400 pounds, forget yoga. It's like, no, your body needs to refresh and feel a difference. So rest for me today is prioritizing my sleep, making sure I understand what is impacting that in a negative way, but then also finding ways to rest my mind even when I'm awake. Even before this call for 10 minutes, I went and sat on the ground, closed my eyes, and just listened to it's a station on Amazon Prime called Spa Station. It's little meditative kind of music. That's how I prepare for things like this. I clear my head. I was banging out emails. I'm frustrated, blah, blah, blah. Take 10 minutes, recenter yourself, rest, and then get energized and ready to hopefully impact some power. So I appreciate everybody staying on this long. I know people are ready to jump. Do me a favor, drop one thing you learned today in the chat, and that'll be the last ask I ask of you.
Yes, or the action that he's inspired you to do, because I would love to see those action items. Yes.
Love it, Maya. Failure, and I'll write it in here because I love seeing it out. First attempt at learning.
All right. Any other questions here before we wrap up?
Jed, I have a whole bunch of dinner table notes. I really appreciate that. My kids
That
are all
is-
traveling today, and so I'm like, I will take notes.
We got, hey,
Yeah.
and I'm excited. I'd love to see this recording after the fact, because I'll tell you the truth. There's a lot of roads I went down that I could have never planned or prepared for. And that's what I love about your questions and your interests. Nick, Molly, thank you again. Ryan, I know we'll talk soon. For the rest of you, here's an action. find me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's our new modern resume. That's the first way to make sure you follow up with me. Enjoy the day, enjoy the hunt, and I'm hopeful that you all got something out of this time together. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Jed. Appreciate it.
That is great. We really appreciate it, Jed.
Ryan, can you jump on real quickly? And if somebody wants to share this with a friend, how will that come for them?
I think they can just go to share the link to the foundations one. Phoebe or T might have something different, but you'll get a recording link and it'll have, what to share with everybody. Jed's been awesome. I met Jed because he was featured on ESPN, and he ESPN.com, big football fan, and he was going out and teaching the NFL teams financial literacy. So I just did a cold reach out, and that was something that I was doing at the time, teaching my Cutco teams about financial stuff. And we met up, we've had lunch lots of times since, but such a great guy. But it was really cool to see all of the questions from everybody. And that's, Nick and Molly are so selfless. I know Molly had all these questions she wanted to ask, but to be able to give the opportunity to all of you to get what questions you want, because you can go listen to anybody's podcast or YouTube, but that's what I know this group will be more about, is the actual access and getting access to these people. Also, we have our next time locked in. That will be on August 7th at
5 o'clock, I think.
5 p.m. Eastern time. And
the speaker is so amazing.
Yeah, so we'll also send out the podcast episode with our next speaker. Her name is Jonna Lee. Basically, she is amazing at helping people who own businesses put an operator in place. And then she does the other side with somebody who's learning how do I run a company. She has training for them. So this is a fantastic opportunity, whether if you wanted to learn how to get into an operator position where I want to run and operate a company, or I want to own a company and get out of the company and put a professional operator in place. She has both sides of that. Young person, extremely talented, and she was a speaker to the Lifestyle Investor Mastermind last year. We're having her speak to the community here, the larger lifestyle investor community as well. So to be able to get some access with her will be really a cool event. Have some great questions, but we'll send the email out with her previous podcast episode. Can you learn a little bit about her? And she's very excited to speak with everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for the hour and a half time that you gave us. We look forward to seeing you in August. And Ryan, thank you so much for having these connections to bring some pretty big name people in to our group. Usually that is very unusual, so we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thanks guys for your participation.
Did you?
Yeah, I think there might be a spot on the email to give that feedback. If there's types of guests that you want to hear from, let us know. And Justin's connections, we'll bring them in.
Yeah. And like Molly was saying, if you guys know anybody else, like a friends of yours, whatever, that are driven individuals that want to do more in life and get more out of life, like feel free to share the link with them so they can get the recordings that we've already done and get in on the next call. So bless you guys. So good to connect. Thanks so much for the call.
All right. Blessings.
Thank you guys,
everyone.
We'll send out info on there, but I would earmark September 12th through 14th.
12 to 14. Okay. Just want to make sure I had it right in my calendar.
Yeah. September 12th through 14th in Austin.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
And how do you say your name?
My name?
No.
No.
Mr. Guerrero.
Guerrero, right?
Yeah, it's Iñaki. Sorry. Nice to meet you guys as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
My daughter is Inika, so it's close.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and you said you had some connections at UT?
Yes, so I'm currently a junior at the University of Texas at Austin. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
if
so
somehow we want to connect to get people to that event, that would be really, let us know how we can.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm also a pretty active member in the real estate center, so I have a lot of connections with the higher ups in there if you want to get a little bit more specific. So
sure.
Absolutely.
You let us know what information well equip you to
Great.
go out, but we can get you some of the speakers that we have lined up already. And Ryan has a lot of, we have the details mostly nailed down so that you could take it. Ryan, is there going to be some sort of
It'll
what
be all
form of
ready by
work-
the end of the week. The like sign up page, everything, that'll be all done. Phoebe and I had a call earlier today. So that'll be tomorrow. We have an all staff meeting with Lifestyle Investor in the morning, finalize some details, and then it'll be up and out probably midweek.
So we would love to work with you, and just email me. I sent you my email of what form works best for you to feed it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can let me know what like your guys' goal is with connecting with UT students as well, so we can kind of brainstorm together.
Our goal is to connect with people who are hungry to grow in this arena and to create a
Awesome.
community of people who want to have these conversations. And so I think that would be the ultimate goal.
Great. Yeah, I'm excited to work together with that and help each other out for sure.
All right. Thank you for
Great.
speaking up. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for hosting such an amazing event. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank
Good.
you. And it was Anike.
Iñaki. Iñaki. Yeah. So it's like
Iñaki.
it has an N,
Iñaki.
well, like with the N. It's Spanish. If that
Okay.
Gotcha,
puts a little more
Iñaki.
context. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Appreciate it.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. It was great to meet you guys.
All right. Blessings.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Nicholas.